Welcome to InstaOwl's classes. We at InstaOwl believe in democratizing education for one and for all. Welcome students, let's continue studying the age of industrialization. The gradual pace of industrialization. So we've seen the dawn of industrialization. Now we're going to see the growth of industrialization. Leading industries, dynamic sectors. Cotton and metals were the most dynamic industries in early industrial Britain. Dynamic means changing exponentially at a fast pace. There were two industries, cotton and metal industry. Cotton's early dominance, cotton led industrial growth until the 1840s. Iron and steel also rose. From the 1840s, iron and steel became dominant, driven by railway expansion. Export growth. By 1873, Britain's iron and steel exports were double the value of its cotton exports. Persistence of traditional industries. So there were traditional industries also. Slow displacement. New industries did not easily replace the traditional ones. There was a slow displacement, means they were working parallelly. Workforce distribution. By the late 19th century, less than 20% of the workforce was in technologically advanced industries. Textile production. Significant textile production still occurred outside factories in domestic units. So what you are seeing over here is that there is a parallel growth of industrialization. The traditional industries are still in place, they are still working, and then we also have the workforce distribution, which is everywhere. It is in the industries also, it is in rural production also, and in textile production also. Growth in traditional industries. Innovation and tradition. Growth in traditional sectors was driven by small, incremental innovations. We'll see how. Non-mechanized sectors. Sectors like food processing, building, pottery, and furniture making continued to evolve. Slow spread of technology. Gradual adoption. Technological changes spread slowly and cautiously due to high cost and reliability issues. Steam engine. This was very important. This was one of the most important inventions of the 20th century, which led to industrialization. We are still seeing very gradual growth. Now, after the steam engine has been discovered, you're going to see a rapid growth of industrialization. Despite James Watt's improvement, steam engines were slow to be adopted with limited early use because they were scared and they did not know how to use the steam engine. Later on, it started getting integrated into the factories. By the early 19th century, only 321 steam engines were in use across England. The typical worker, craftspeople and laborers. The mid-19th century workforce was largely made up of traditional craftspeople and laborers. So we are still talking about the mid-19th century, that is in the 1850s. 1850s, we are still seeing that there is a lot of labor, there are a lot of craftspeople in textile, and they are quite slow. They are not machine operators. But as the dawn of the 20th century starts and mid of 20th century, you're going to see a lot of industrial workers in machine workery. This is an illustration of fitting shop at a railway work in England. An illustration for spinning factory in the 1830s. Let's see Victorian Britain versus industries. Abundant labor supply, no labor shortage. Poor peasants and vagrants flocked to cities, creating an abundant labor pool. So like I told you, there was not much work in the early areas or early era because of the people having traditional workforce. Now that they are coming from poorer backgrounds, they can be industrial workers. Low wages, we had high labor availability. That's why they kept the wages low, reducing the industrialist cost. So in the starting, they gave them very low wages so that they could use them. Reluctance to invest in machines. Industrialists avoided costly machines that would replace cheap human labor. Seasonal labor demand, seasonal industries. Industries like gasworks, breweries, bookbinding, and ship repair had fluctuating labor needs. Why? Because they're not working throughout the year. They are working in a season. Hand labor preference. Employers favored hand labor for seasonal work, hiring workers during peak demand periods. Demand for skilled hand labor. Intricate products means products which have a lot of detailing. Many goods required human skill, such as 500 varieties of hammers and 45 kinds of axes in mid-19th century Britain. These were the tools that were required to make extremely intricate products. Limited role for machines. Now, machines were suited for standardized mass production, not intricate varied designs. Let me give you an example. If you were making a hand-woven sari, that sari is not going to come from the loom, which is powered by machines, because that's a mass production of textile. If you're going to make a hand-woven, it's going to be a very intricate design, and for that you need human skilled labor. Social preferences. Upper class preference. The aristocracy and bourgeoisie favored handmade goods. Now, these are the upper classes of London. Yes, aristocracy, the nobles. The bourgeoisie are the working class, but the upper middle class, symbolizing refinement and class. Handmade quality. Handmade items were seen as better finished, individually crafted, and more carefully designed. So they wanted these, and that is why we have an industry which demanded handcrafted material. Contrast with America. Now, labor was short in America. In contrast to Britain, 19th century America faced labor shortage, leading industrialists to prefer mechanical power to reduce reliance on human labor. This is an illustration of some people who were always on the move, selling their wares and searching for temporary jobs because of the shift in area of agriculture, area of industrialization. So you can always see that people were moving from one place to another for jobs. Let's see Instabites. We're going to see Will Thorne's job hunt story, the journey he walked to London for work, inspired by a friend of his. The struggles, he ran out of money, had to sleep outdoors in the cold. And his success was when he found his friend, secured a job at the gas works, and started living a proper life. Let's see challenges and changes in the life of workers. Labor abundance and job access, inflow to cities. Workers flocked to cities with hopes of employment. Like I told you, now there were factories in the cities, so the workers had to travel to the cities in hope of employment. Job opportunity, jobs often depended on social networks. Those without connections faced long waits and harsh living conditions. Seasonal employment and job insecurity. Work seasonality. Many industries had seasonal work, leaving workers jobless in off seasons. Return to countryside. Some return to rural areas after the winter. Others struggle to find odd jobs. Wages and worker welfare. Now, wage variations. Wages increased slightly, but didn't reflect true worker welfare due to trade differences and price fluctuations. This was one of the most important problems for the laborers, that there was a lot of variations in wage. They were not paid up to the mark which was required in the market. The impact of inflation. During times like the Napoleonic Wars, rising prices reduced the real value of wages. Because of the wars that England had to face, or the wars which were there in Europe, they all impacted the inflation, that is the economy of the country. Employment duration. Worker income was affected by both wage rates and the number of work days available. So there was a quite difficult hardship for these workers to sustain in this era. Fear of unemployment and resistance to technology. Hostility to machines. Hostility means the fear of something. Yeah, they're scared of machines, to use machines. Fear of job loss made workers resist new technology like the spinning jenny. The spinning jenny was the invention which helped in the spinning sector, in the textile industry. Worker conflicts. Introduction of new machines led to prolonged conflicts. Conflicts means fights, especially among women in the wool industry. Let's see the urban expansion and job growth post-1840s. Remember, 1840s is from where the steam engine was produced. We started introducing machinery. Building boom. Urban construction products increased, providing more jobs. Why? Because we see that iron and steel industry was increasing. The building boom, why was there? What is the use in the building sector? The building sector is using of iron and steel. And iron and steel started after the 1840s. That is why there was an increase in this sector. Transport industry also grew. Yes. Employment in transport doubled in 1840s and continued to grow with infrastructure development. Again, iron and steel increase and the invention of the steam engine, which was also used in many factories and ships, which helped us in transport industry growth. This is an illustration of workers in an ironworks in northeast England. Illustration of homeless and hungry people. Why? Because yes, there were fights for jobs. There was fight for employment. So it was not a very peaceful era because the economy was also struck by wars, and inside this also there was a lot of labor available but less jobs available. Yes, this is an illustration of a spinning jenny, which was revolutionary in the textile industry. This is an illustration of a shallow underground railway being constructed in central London. So the railway started in the later of 1840s, and this was the construction project of a railway. Let's say Instabites, 1790s incident of worker unrest. Magistrate called to protect manufacturers' property. Now remember, in the 1790s also, there was a conflict between the workers, that is the people who are working, and the employer. Magistrate called to protect manufacturers' property. Wives were upset over job loss to spinning machines. Now the people over there, the women who used to work in the spinning industries were very angry that they had been replaced with the spinning machines. The group planned to destroy all the machines, but after discussion, men peacefully returned home. And the women remained vocal in their protests. We have seen industrialization, the boom of industrialization started because of the invention of the steam engine and also because of the rise in the steel industry. We have also seen the life of workers. The life of workers was not very good. There was a lot of hardships involved. But you're going to be seeing in the next chapter how the age of industrialization reached its peak and then it increased the economy of the country. I hope you're enjoying studying this part with me. Please stay tuned to InstaAL's video to see the next part in the same chapter. Thank you.